Welcome to yet another episode from Corporate Diva series. TGV, the guiding voice, is proud to celebrate March 2023 as Women's Month. Though men are from Mars, March is for women. And we have another corporate diva with us, Jayasmita Dutta. She's an astute professional with 13 plus years of experience in multiple facets of capability development, facilitation, project and data management, quality and internal controls, risk management, process improvement, employee engagement and well-being, and diversity and inclusion. She thrives on challenges where she can leverage her functional and leadership competencies. And one of the common points we both have is that she's also a certified black belt in Lean Six Sigma. This is the Guiding Voice podcast series, TGV for a Better Future. Friends, I am your host, Naveen Samala, just a fellow IT professional on a mission to make the world a better place to live through the conversations that add value to your life and to your career. Thank you so much for joining me. And Jaysmita, hearty welcome to the Guiding Voice.
Thank you so much, Naveen.
Pleasure to have you. And let's get into the conversation, Jaysmita. Can you briefly share your career journey and the top 3 milestones?
All right. That's a very beautiful question, Naveen. And there are many facets to it, right? You did give an introduction which just highlighted how my career is, what am I, who am I. There is another facet to it when you say about the top 3 milestones. And for years, we thought that our biggest career milestones were things like, say, pay raises or promotions, position we are in, and all those things. And think about it. We have been pegging our career success to other people's decision because that promotion came from my manager, that pay raises is the compensation people deciding. Of course, my efforts were there. However, if I think right now, it's a good time for me to ask the questions that what are the things that I value the most in my career? And trust you me, there are these 3 things which I want to highlight today, which may not seem very fancy, but very close to me. The first thing is starting my first full-time job right out of college at the time of recession in 2008. It was a very big step, whether I should go into labs or into corporate. And I took the plunge towards the corporate life, and it was life-changing for me. The second bit, which was a big milestone, was me returning to my career as a new mother. I was very guilty then, every minute probably leaving my child alone, and this probably most of the new mothers go through. However, looking back right now, I think I have shown mettle in that. The third thing would be the first time I set my boundaries with my boss and shared constructive feedback with them. Now, it's not the usual. I wouldn't generalize. I would say I am or I have been a people pleaser, and I'm moving out of that. I'm really working hard to move out of that conditioning that I have, which has been throughout my life. So when I first set my boundaries and I shared those with my people, my boss, etc., was a big career movement for me. Yeah. So these are the top 3 milestones.
That's a fair statement. And so humble of you setting the boundaries with the boss and sharing constructive feedback and admitting a people pleaser. I think we will have that kind of people pleasing mentality during the initial stages of your career, and as and when we realize our potential, as and when we realize our competencies are something which are bringing us to the next role, to the next level and all, I think that will fade away slowly. Thanks for highlighting that. I really appreciate it, Jaysmita. Now, can you also talk about your success mantra, as in top 3 things that have helped you to be successful in your career so far?
Okay, good question, Naveen, again. I would want to share a quote with you. And the reason I'm sharing that quote with you, because all the mantras that I have is in that quote. And this is quoted from Maya Angelou's statement, which is, my mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive. And to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style. So let me give you the excerpt on the 3 things that are attributed to the success. First is the passion that I carry, the energy that I bring to my work I am very proud of it. And this energy comes from the deep belief that I am doing something necessary and valuable. The compassion and the humor element is where the relationships are, right? And I feel networking and relationship is prime in our career and in general in life, right? We are social beings. So for me, relationships are the neurons to success. When I talk about style, it includes my creativity and the courage that I show. And creativity is not just thinking out of the box or reinventing the wheel. Rather, it is to think how we that wheel is existing, but how do I make the wheel work better? And that is innovation for me, and that is the creativity I bring to my work. I think and I have this penchant for innovation, and it takes courage, I think, to stand up and say that maybe this is the thing that I want to do. And all these courage, the compassion, the passion comes from one deep belief, which is doing the right thing. Over to you, Naveen.
Super. Doing the right thing, and even when nobody else is watching.
Exactly. That is
Right.
integrity.
Integrity.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. So let's move ahead and talk about one of the core topics of today's conversation, because I wanted to structure our conversation around mental health and diversity, equity slash equality and inclusion part. So first, let's talk about the importance of this mental health, like, because many people, right, they overlook mental health, take it for granted. But of late, we have seen several cases of depression and several cases of people not being mindful, several cases of indecisiveness, and there are so many other factors, okay, which are actually leading them to consult either psychologists or psychiatrists. So I'm really curious to understand the importance of mental health or the mental well-being.
All right, Naveen. This topic is extremely close to my heart. And the reason why it's close to my heart is I am exploring my mental health a lot. And it's been there from 2016. I have been doing it because I was diagnosed with depression, and more so a more severe condition rather. And I have been on treatment and all of it. So in this whole journey of therapies and the psychiatric sessions, etc., I just realized that a healthy life is having a healthy mind. And if my mind is not healthy, even though I have amazing family, good career, everything, I would not feel happy. So a good life or a good health is a resultant of not just physical or social well-being, rather also mental and emotional well-being. And that is the importance of mental health, because we want people to feel good, to have good control of their life and their personal decisions, and to cope with the challenges that life throws at you. And uh, and it just becomes difficult when you have depression, right? When you are going through that phase. So how do you pull yourself out? How? And you just spoke about something which is mindfulness, right?
Yeah.
Our minds are more full than being mindful. So
True.
how do we do that? And that's something what mental health taught me. The whole
Yeah.
journey towards restoring my mental health taught.
If I may ask you again, you can feel free to skip this question, but what caused that depression in you?
That's a good question, and many people ask me that.
Okay.
And the reason isn't known, and because it just happened, and more so, I think it's the postpartum depression which I had, and which was ignored at the time of, after my childbirth, because we always think, okay, child is there and things will be fine, and this is normal to feel like that. That normal is not a standard normal. Everybody's normal is very different, and that's where probably equity also comes into place, where we have to think that everybody's needs and wants are different, and everybody's normal would be different. I cannot tell you, hey, it's normal.
Yeah.
No, it is not. It
Mhm.
might not be normal for you. And probably that, since that was overlooked, because I was also conditioned like that, and that probably has caused it. And there may be many other factors. And like I told you, family is fantastic, job is fantastic, good friends, good support system. And I have fantastic support system for me to go back to work at that point in time and even now. But what caused it? The real reason, I don't know.
Mhm. Okay, yeah, fair enough. And all we have to do is just give enough importance to the mental health and do a quick check from time to time. That would be my 2 cents on this topic. And Jaysmita, you have been a great promoter of mental well-being of employees. So, what would be your suggestion to the organizations? Okay, what can they do to promote well-being of employees? Any quick tips?
Yeah. See, I have been lucky, Naveen. I have worked in a previous organization which was really promoting mental health. And in the current organization, they are like not just mental health, they promote personal well-being. And it is so nice to see that organizations takes those steps to destigmatize the social norms that we have. The current, they have really prioritized mental well-being, physical well-being, and not just that, but different types of people. Like DEI is promoted here, and it just feels so good. So what can I suggest others to do is, first of all, organizations have to believe that they work with people, and they want people to bring their whole self to work. That belief will make all the other decisions easier, because people will feel belonged, and they will feel truly belonged when they bring their authentic selves to work, right? So a few steps, like 2 3, which I may suggest, is first to destigmatize mental health and sensitize all the employees. Now, this sensitization needs to go at all employee level, plus special sensitization to leads, the managers, because they are the ones who are dealing with people on a daily basis, and they have to create a good support system. Next is making mental health issues normal, supporting treatment and financial support, as well as therapy support, and many organizations do that now. Next, I would also say, which is creating a good ally network. Sometimes we just need people to listen to, and say a therapist isn't there. So how do you want to create that network? So allies who become the listening pipes happen to help a lot. Last one, fourth one, which is creating good guidances, courses and assets, which becomes ready reckoners for people, and also giving access to tools like Headspace, Calm, Thrive, which are already available. And if those are given access to, it just becomes easier for anybody to manage their daily life.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a great summary, and you have provided a very good framework in a nutshell, I would say. So, Jaysmita, now let's switch to the DI part. Like, how can we define women's empowerment and equality? Is there any difference as such between empowerment and equality?
All right, let's first try and understand all the three
Yeah.
terms. Now, the third one is equity as well. All
Mhm.
right. So, if I say what is equality, equality is you are giving equal resources to a group of people. All right, and opportunities too. Whereas equity is when you recognize that uh, every person has different circumstances, and allocate the exact amount of resource and opportunity for these persons. So you are making it very specific for people. Now comes what is empowerment. Now empowerment is, and when you speak about women empowerment specifically, it would mean promoting a woman's sense of self-worth, right, and enhancing their ability to make their own choices easier wherever it is. So yes, if I say what is the difference, or are these the same, they are all resultant of one another. All right. So when you speak about equity brings equality, and when people feel equal, they are more empowered to do stuff. So yes, one into the other.
Awesome. That's a great linkage and the summary that you have provided. And now let's talk about the company part. Like, how can we get the entire company, including the leadership team, to be on board with the DI initiatives?
Mhm. All right. let me give you this instance. The United Nations theme for International Women's Day this year is embracing equity, and they have this as the the picture thing, right? So you need to take a picture like this and say that I embrace equity. Now first we have to see not just in the company level, but what is the world doing, and that's what United Nation wants to see. They want to see a world which is free of bias, stereotypes, and discrimination, right? And with this thought in mind, the companies also should start working where they have to understand that when there are diverse teams and that diversity is encouraged, they become more innovative, they make better decisions, and diverse companies of course are the have the better shareholders returns, right? So with that objective in mind, that yeah, I need to be a more innovative organization, what are the things the companies can do? They can, and they can, like I said earlier also, for the women thing, mental health thing, that they need to bring awareness. Awareness is the first step towards bringing any changes, right? So even in terms of diversity, they need to bring awareness about discrimination, right? If you want to promote DEI, people have to understand what are the things which are going on. Because right now we all feel, yeah, why do we need it? But there are so many
Yeah.
types of biases which are there, and people do not know, and they will only know when you actually bring it in front of them. So that's why I say raising awareness is the first step. The
Yeah.
other things people can do is they can bring groups together, brainstorm on the ways of working to find better solution towards DEI. There is also another thing which is very much in discussion in the social circle right now, which is called a broken rung. So how do you address the broken rung and remove biases in hiring and promotions? And I will leave this question to all the audience today, that think about it. Would you hire a new mom over a very young lady, or very young men who is out of the box, or say who both of the people have same experience, same skill set, but would you hire a new mom, or would you hire another person? So how do you tackle such situations? Are there guidances?
Mm-hmm.
So normal, we need to find a standard way of hiring, and even for promotions. So those are important. They have to really understand that. The third thing which I would suggest is, company always say that this person is not a culture fit. Nobody would be. People, you lose out on people if you try to find a culture fit. Rather, why don't you create a culture where everything is promoted? Yeah,
That's a
I stopped
profound.
there.
No, that's a profound point that you made. Saying people are not culturally fit and all. As long as our culture is fluidic, transparent, and adaptive, anybody can fit into our culture. And just to ponder upon the previous question that you have asked, when we have two different people with same skill set but of different life stage, somebody is a new mom versus somebody fresh out of college, or somebody a young chap, young man, right? So who would you hire? My 2 cents would be, again, think about the value addition that they bring, and we have to keep these stereotypes away, saying that if it is new mom, probably she or he might focus more on the newborn, right? We have to keep those things away, because as long as people are committed, they will deliver irrespective of their situations, right? So we have to have that profound belief in them, and make sure that they are comfortable and they are given every avenue to prove themselves. That would be my 2 cents, Jaysmita.
Absolutely.
Now let's
Absolutely.
talk
Thank
about, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying thank you for
All right.
bringing that question up again.
Yeah. So next, let's talk about the difficult part of implementing a DI program, because again, I have been asking this question to multiple leaders who are actually working on these cars, right? Working for these cars, because many times this has become a tick in the box exercise, or people are doing it for the sake of letter without the spirit and all. But let us try to unfold certain underlying challenges, so that even the listeners or the audience, right, they also get a chance to mull over it and come up with some innovative solutions.
All right. Okay, Naveen. So let me just make it easier. There are three things that we need to address here. And first is the inadequate understanding of the DEI and its sensitivity. Second thing is the cultural resistance. And the third thing are the communication issues. Now, let me just quickly tell you about a little bit more about these three things. First thing, when I said inadequate understanding, and I told earlier as well, right? We need to sensitize people. Training alone cannot solve an issue, but it's a step towards solving an issue. So you need to understand, and companies need to have programs like understanding emotional wellness, emotional intelligence, DEI and its basics, awareness of microaggressions, right? Unconscious biases, barrier, which are barriers to leadership. So, things like that, when you bring, and not just say that, yeah, we will launch a DEI program, it is too broad. Rather, understanding what happens, like, when you speak about microaggression, a lot goes in there. The second thing which I mentioned are the cultural resistances. And we need to roll out anti-bias trainings to people. Like I said earlier, right? People should understand what are the biases women and all the other, the diverse culture, the diverse people at work face. There can be likability bias, there can be performance biases, there can be affinity biases, there can be attribution biases, intersectionality, and so many more. So all of these, and I do not have the opportunity right now to explain in detail so much, but a lot of biases are there, and we need to understand what are those biases. So that is another step towards it. The third thing and the last thing is communication issues, where your senior leaderships also should understand that how do we have to roll it out, and what are the initiatives that we need to do, and they should make that initiative a priority. And I think, let us do these three things, rest will follow.
Yeah. Excellent, Jaysmita. I'm thoroughly enjoying this conversation. And now let's switch to the third part of this conversation today, or this episode, which is about being an Instagram influencer. So can you briefly share your journey as an Instagram influencer and also highlight the pros and cons? Because many a times people get to see the rosy side of being an influencer, right? Wherein people try to meet them, try to get a photograph, one sneak peek. And there are so many aspects, right? Once you get into that fanboy moment, people go crazy. But behind the scenes, there is a lot of other set of things which not many are aware of, right? So probably you could highlight those as well.
True. Instagram influencing started in 2018, and I wanted to become a person who influences in the fashion space. Now, why would I go into that? I have a good corporate life. Because I love wearing saris, and I wanted to make saris normal. Like, you can do everything wearing a sari. So I wanted to do that. So my friend suggested that why don't you just show it to others as well, and that's where I started posting. And without any intention of becoming an influencer, all right, it just that bringing saris normally, and that's where Saree Nari, Saree_Nari is the profile. So that got created. Now it got created, and we started creating a nice sari Sakhi, which is the Sari Friends group, and very nice things were happening. And then suddenly people started recognizing, and they started saying, we want to collaborate with you. I didn't even understand what it was, but then slowly got into it, and that's where influencing started. Because then my circle went bigger and bigger. From a circle of 100 people, it went up to like last time when I was active in Instagram, it was 72,000. And I think now it has come down probably, but I don't know, because I have been inactive from 2021 July. So I will also tell you why that. But first, the pros of the thing, right? The pro is that you connect with a lot of people, and you connect with diverse group of people, and that is fantastic. The pro is also that you feel good about influencing people. You feel good that, yeah, your choices are being accepted. And that's the social acceptability part, that fitting in that we all talk about. So that comes into play. Pro is also that you get connected to different brands, and you try to understand what is their ideology, where do they come from, the journey, etc. And that's beautiful to understand those stories and get connected and be part of those stories. There are many other pros, I may say, and you monetize. Of course, you monetize your journey as an influencer. However, with all of these comes the cons, and I already told you I was suffering from a condition, so it didn't come easy to me. For me, the con was that I was getting too deep into it, and there was a time that I just realized that I was not able to come out of it, and it was a downward spiral. I was just going deep down. When my circle was smaller, I probably didn't care about the likes I got. But then when the circle went bigger, I used to actually get frustrated when the likes weren't more, or the reach of my post wasn't good. And then there was a time I realized I am troubling myself a lot. It is disturbing my mental sanity, and that's where I stopped. That's where I thought I need to take a break. I don't want to compare. I don't want to fit in. And who am I proving to? Because it is just going bizarre. And you can, and people should be at a platform where they want to. However, if you can maintain a balance, go ahead. Nobody is going to stop. But the moment you see that the balance is going off, that's where you need to introspect and see what should the next step be. And that's what I did. And I realized that I wouldn't want to continue. I would want to stop, because I want to completely understand myself first. What I want to do, I want to align myself with the vision of my life, and I just stopped. But then I really enjoyed that journey, Naveen, because I did a show called Kahani with Saree Nari, where I connected with a lot of people, more than 80 people, doing interviews like this, but over Instagram. And I learned so much. The learning was huge, and it helped me build a lot of confidence.
I can understand that, but you have made a bold decision of quitting it, and I'm sure it is not that easy, right? When you have that fame and all, and suddenly you want to give it up and call it a day, I'm sure it is not that easy.
It was not easy. It was not easy, but I think I just made a very good decision. I'm very happy and proud of the decision I could make. It wasn't easy, but I was not able to manage it. So it was a very personal decision.
Get it. Got it. Now, so this has been amazing conversation so far. No doubt about it. Let's add some spice to the episode. I want you to reveal some of your personal details so that the TGV community gets to know about other side of Jaysmita. Are you ready for a quick? All right. Let me kick off the quick rapid fire round. And here comes my first bullet. Can you name 3 animals that come to your mind?
Dog, cats, and tiger.
And why tiger?
The fierceness, the boldness.
Fair enough. And which superpower would you choose between invisibility or mind reading? And why?
Oh my God, that is a scary one. Naveen, it's not a good choice. Okay, I am fumbling right now because I don't know which one I would choose. Okay, rather I would choose invisibility than mind reading, because mind reading would take me away from the spice of life. I might as well become invisible.
And what is first thing you would do once you become invisible?
I wouldn't choose to become. The only reason there are these 2 choices, I chose invisibility because I don't want to take surprise out of my life. I love surprises.
Got it. Now, can you describe yourself in just one word?
Imperfect.
Imperfect? I don't think so.
No, I'm very happy that I'm imperfect, because I dealt with perfectionism, and it took me some time to get rid of it. It was a very torturous state, when you want to do everything perfect, but life is imperfect in itself. So you just can't go beyond it.
Fair enough. Moving ahead. How often do you lie?
You want me to actually tell that here? I don't know. There is no frequency to it. I wouldn't say that I don't lie. Of course I do, but depends. I don't know the frequency.
Gotcha. Now, here comes the last one for rapid fire. What is one electronic gadget or fantasy device that you like to see or invent yourself?
Oh, wow. Supersonic jet.
Supersonic jet.
I can reach my work in 5 seconds and come back home in 5 seconds. I would love that.
Awesome. Interesting rapid fire. Let's flip back to the mainstream. And before I let you go, one final question for today's conversation. What will be your one piece of advice to those aspiring to make big in their careers or lives? Anything you can choose.
I would just say that be authentic, because it takes a lot of grit and energy to be your true self, telling what you actually want. And I took a lot of time to find that, and I'm still in search of the authentic self and expressing my authentic self. So work towards showing your authenticity, and is the only advice I would say.
Yeah, authenticity is not that easy. In fact, I've recently published a blog on being authentic on LinkedIn because I wanted to highlight the story in terms of why people try to fake and why they try to be somebody else rather than being themselves, right? In case if people like you for whoever you are, whatever you are, that is the biggest achievement in my opinion. And yeah, great to highlight that. And Jaysmita, this has been fabulous conversation. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I hope you enjoyed the session with the Guiding Voice platform. And thank you for your insights as well as the time that you have spent.
Naveen, it's been my pleasure to be here. It was so nice to actually go through all the questions that you have asked and exploring and finding out in my mind what are the things that I can say and what are the things I believe in. And I'm happy that I could truly express it, and you gave me that opportunity to express myself. So big thank you to you.
Yep. Pleasure to host you. And folks, that was our episode with Jayasmita Dutta. And before we move into the trivia section, here's a request to you. In case if you haven't subscribed to us already, please subscribe from the app wherever you have tuned in from. Also, if you have loved this episode and found the conversation useful, please share with at least 3 of your friends or colleagues who can benefit from the Guiding Voice. Thank you so much in advance. Now, let's talk about today's trivia. It is about diversity, equity, and inclusion. And folks, diversity is more than just numbers. Including a diverse workforce is not only about having a good ratio of people across race and gender, it also extends to how employees identify on the spectrum between introvert and extrovert, how they deal with the different types of stressors, how they approach problem solving, and many more. And to truly know whether or not you are creating an inclusive workplace, first ask yourself, do my employees feel like they can contribute in ways that draw on all of their unique skills? Are my employees valued for being themselves? If the answer is yes, then you are well on your way to truly leading a safe and inclusive workplace. And so companies with more diverse workforces experience higher profitability and a better ability to retain clients. However, it's not just about hiring more people from different and diverse backgrounds, but it's about creating a culture of inclusion and equity within your workplace. It's great that companies have a DEI strategy in place, but that should just be the beginning, and they should sustain and come up with more and more best practices which rest of the industries can adapt. So that's all for today. And folks, I'm really curious to understand what kind of DEI initiatives that your company is already following. Please share them. If at all it is not confidential, you can share them through social media or email us at theguidingvoiceforyou@gmail.com. Thank you so much for joining me. And do not forget to share your topic recommendations or guest speaker suggestions through social media or email me at theguidingvoiceforyou@gmail.com. Friends, I'm your host Naveen Samala, just a fellow IT professional and a passionate learner on a mission to make a difference in the lives and careers of millions across the globe, because we are here to make this world a better place to live through the conversations that matter and conversations that add value to your life and to your career. Until next time, bye-bye. See you all in the next episode with another corporate deal.